We are presenting a letter to INEC. This letter. This is the copy of that letter is about the election that is going to take place in a few weeks' time or a few days' time in Imo State, in Kogi State and Bayelsa State. We're more concerned about Imo State because Imo State is where you have a lot of issues relating to the integrity of the electoral process. In Imo State, the resident electoral commissioner is a lady. She is the younger sister of the deputy national chairman of APC. That is not, it's not going to be a free and fair election. So part of what we wrote to INEC chairman is to tell him that he has to drop that lady from Imo State as a rec of Imo State. He can take her to wherever, maybe take her to Lagos or even bring her to Aso Rock here. Since the sister to the deputy national chairman of APC, she cannot be trusted to conduct free and fair election in Imo State, particularly. Then in other states also, in Kogi State, there's information that the results have already been written in the government house in Kogi State. Then there have been a lot of killings, a lot of violence in, I think, Kogi North or so, where you have a predominance of Igala-speaking people, because the most influential candidate that is challenging the governor's stooge, the stooge of the governor, who he wants to put in there, I think his nephew or his cousin or whoever he is, the former auditor of that state. You know, the challenger is from that ethnic nationality. So there have been a lot of violence around that side. We're calling on the police authority to ensure that the election is free, fair, transparent, and that no candidate in this election should have an unfair advantage. We feel that the Imo State case is very, very disturbing. We're going to stage a protest in the police force headquarters. Pretty soon, before the election, we'll go to police headquarters. You see these are pictures that are posted in the police headquarters, where you have the governor of Imo State, you have the president, you have the acting IGP. You look at it. All of you must have seen this picture. Everybody who passes through that force headquarters sees the picture. The security of election is very, very integral to a free and fair process. If you have a police of a nation already hijacked by one political party, how are you going to have a free and fair election? I'm talking about the election that is going to take place in Imo State, whereby it seems like the police has already been taken over by APC. This has to stop. The acting IG of police, who is just new, a very educated man, should know that it is wrong to have a candidate of APC for an election being presented in front of the force headquarters. Force headquarters that we built with our money. We are the taxpayers. APC didn't build force headquarters. We built, all of us here who pay tax, build us force headquarters. So force headquarters does not belong to APC. It belongs to all Nigerians. And you have this thing that they say they have a conference, and you have a candidate. So what kind of impression are you creating to the operatives who are on ground in Imo State that they should rig the election for the incumbent governor? We're not saying if a man wins the election, he shouldn't be given the re-elections. But we're saying that the process has to be very fair. Nobody should have an unfair advantage in this election. You have the reg, who is the sister of the deputy national chairman of APC in the southeast, who is the reg, the resident electoral commissioner, a sister to a very powerful officer in APC. You're not going to have a very transparent election. And people have been protesting even in Imo State, asking INEC to effect a change. INEC has refused to even respond to some of these things. Apparently, that's the reason why they didn't invite our group to their so-called briefing with CSOs. We're not invited. If I was invited there, we would have made a very sound pronouncement before coming here to address the press. So we are saying there has to be a free and fair election in Imo State. INEC has already messed up the 2023 election. We are just lucky that Nigerian youths are the best kind of youths you have in the world. They are not youths that are after violence. Everybody is peaceful. Even when they rig the election in 2023, everybody is quiet. Imo State election, Kogi State election, Bayelsa State election must not be rigged. Because if you have crisis in those states, it's going to have a very terrible effect all over the country. Because those three states, I'm not saying those three states are very, very important states, but those three states have a lot of Nigerians that are scattered all over the world, all over the country. So there has to be a very fair process. You must allow the process to be free, fair, transparent. And one of the measures that INEC has to introduce is to ensure that all the result sheets coming from the local government area councils are signed by the chairman of INEC. Chairman of INEC should sign it. I mean, all the results that are going to come from the local government areas in these three states should be signed by the chairman of INEC, should be signed by the electoral officers, and countersigned by the REC, in order to ensure that you do not smuggle in a result that has already been written in the government house. Because then secondly, in Imo State again, the commissioner of police in Imo State was one of those coup plotters in Adamawa State, those who plotted the coup to install Binani of APC as the winner when it was PDP that won the election. All of you were in Nigeria when it was happening, where the commissioner of police, the director of DSS, and the REC addressed the press and announced the result even before the election was concluded in Adamawa State. Now that policeman, who was supposed to be suspended or punished for that, for his role in that political atrocity, has been sent to Imo State. That man is in Imo State, the same policeman who sat alongside the REC of Adamawa State and the DSS director and the police commissioner in Adamawa State, and announced a coup. Announced a coup because it's a coup plot when you announce a fake result and not the result that is announced officially by INEC. So the man is in Imo State now. No, don't tell me to. I need to say everything. If you're in a hurry, you can leave.
But
you know.
Yourself, sir.
Please don't dictate to us what we will say. Please, if not just to us what we will say.
Go ahead.
If you're tired, please, you can just ease yourself out. You know, the commissioner of police, who was in Imo State. That's why we have problems, because even journalists, I'm a journalist. Journalists don't have, they're overwhelmed by work. Otherwise, why should a commissioner of police who took part in a coup plot in Adamawa State be posted to another state to to supervise an election? That's what I'm saying. That's why we have problems. You have issues going on and nobody follows up, nothing is done to the person, and that's why you have a lot of violence. People are being kidnapped all the time. Nobody is punished. You have a commissioner of police, you have director of DSS, you have people who are in charge of different commands. None of them is punished, and the vicious cycle continues. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to break it down. We're going to circulate this letter to you so that you understand what we're saying. What we're saying is that INEC has to take some measures to ensure that elections in Imo State, it is good to repeat it. It is, I'm repeating myself, it's very important. It's very important to repeat issues so that we do the right thing. We have been doing wrong things in the last 60 years of our independence. That's why Nigeria is crumbled. That's why we are, all our children are all over the place in Libya trying to cross over to Europe, because the people who are governing this country are not governing it properly. Somebody said yesterday, it looks like you are fighting hope. No, I don't belong to any party. I don't belong to APC. I don't belong to PDP. Hurua does not belong to any political party. But what I'm saying is that the process has to be free, fair, and transparent. Is Hurua from Kogi State? Is Hurua from BAYELSA State? But we're saying elections taking place in those states must be free and fair. Then in BAYELSA State, there's disqualification of a candidate. Disqualification of one of the candidates of APC is unconstitutional. A court does not have a right to tell a party which candidate they are going to put forward as a candidate of the party. So already the election has been rigged in BAYELSA State if APC is not allowed to contest. Thank you.